Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to the inaugural relaunch of the Entrepreneur Enclave. I am your host, Kevin Wortham, life's coming attraction. This is the Entrepreneur Enclave. I am so glad to be back online. I feel strange. It feels good. I feel out of sort. But I've got a young man that's going to help us bring it all together and keep us motivated so that we can continue to move forward and do all the things that we need to do. On the line, I've got my dear friend, Brother Joel Green. Welcome, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going, Kevin?
So far, so good, man. So we're going to jump right into this. You know, you gave me an opportunity to review your bio, and fantastic. I think I met you about 10 years ago. We were having lunch at this restaurant in Lawrenceville, a little cafe in Lawrenceville. And ever since that day, man, I have been impressed, and I have been a Joel Green fan. So let's bring everybody up to speed. And I want folks to know that the Entrepreneur Enclave is brought to you by the Minding Our Business program. And that's a program where we teach youth and adults how to become entrepreneurs. And so it's through that vein, it's through our founding, through being at Rider University, we have some connective tissues or connective parts. So Joel, take us from there. You're at Rider University. You're playing basketball. Ta-da! It's all yours now.
I mean, that's from Rider. I had a good time there. I was there for my last 2 years of school.
Yes.
And majored in psychology and got my degree in psychology there, and just loved that, to be honest with you. Right alongside basketball, of course, and we won our league championship that year, which was a major blessing. That was a really cool experience, winning the MAC league championship, and graduated and went professionally after that in the game of basketball, and went over, spent my rookie season over in Ireland, Limerick, Ireland.
Yes. Which
was a really rainy experience. It was a lot of fun though. It was a great time. But again, it was a dream come true for me to be able to play on that level.
Now, Joel, let me stop you so we can back up a little bit. You make it sound so matter of fact. Let's throw some other questions in there because I know some folks may be interested. You're playing basketball. Was it always a dream to play professionally?
It was always my dream. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't one that, realized the dream could happen later. Like, I'll be honest, I was working toward that as a youth.
Got you.
I fell in love with basketball after I seen this cheesy 80s movie called Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
And since then, I just wanted to play the game. And then as I started to learn about, Charles Barkley, who was on the Sixers at the time when I was little, and, all these other guys, Dr. J and Michael Jordan, I'm like, man, that just seemed like it would be really cool to do.
Okay.
As a job. So, that became a goal of mine.
So now you're at Ryder. This dream is now becoming manageable. It's now becoming doable. When do you select an agent? How do you go about doing that? How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, great question. That was it was a process, man. You can't just go and accept the first person that approaches you. 'Cause some
Yes.
people will approach you. You'll approach different people. You call around to find out if someone knows someone. You talk to old coaches, your current college coaches, all the above. So again, it was a process just to see not only, to be honest, who could bring you the best deal and who has the best connections and networks with different clubs overseas and here in the States. But it was also who seems and sounds trustworthy. It's a two-way relationship. It's not just what can I do for you? What can you do for me? I mean, I'm hiring you to work for me, as my agent, as opposed to the other way around. So I even tell players that take that approach nowadays. Like, look, see them as working for you.
Okay.
And make sure they can do something for you and position your future, not just for the current. And so it was a process. And then I had probably 3 agents over the course of my playing career.
Okay.
And just try to get the best person you can trust.
Now, excuse the tone, but when you were selecting an agent, you are a young man. Are you making these decisions by yourself? Was there a mentor? Was there family and friends? Were there parents saying, come to me, we can make this decision together? Tell us about that part.
Definitely. Again, beyond my parents, no question.
Yes.
And I say especially my dad. I mean, my dad was, he was my agent outside of having the professional title. I'm being honest with you. I'm talking about sending game footage and newspaper clippings of me all around the world. He would find out what clubs were in need of, different, players at my position, and he would contact them, because we were even told by a number of different coaches, once you even have an agent, don't just bank on them to do it all for you.
Yes.
You have to do for yourself as well, especially going into your first rookie campaign, your rookie campaign as a pro.
Yes.
So my dad, man, he went above and beyond, created DVDs, again, who really does a whole lot with DVDs nowadays, but at the time created DVDs, literally shipped those things out all around the world, around the country, and packaged and everything. And then we had my agent do the same thing. So my parents, had a whole lot to do with it. My dad, like I said, old coaches, I reach out to that I trust, and they just kind of guided me along the way.
Now my next question, because we've got several questions. So when did you decide, and what was the difference between going pro for the NBA and going pro professionally overseas? What was the difference, and why did you decide to go that route?
Well, I wish I could say I decided to go that route. My plan, my desire was to go to the, straight to the NBA.
Yes.
But if things don't work in your favor in that regard, and if you aren't number one projected as that, or even you can even say in a sense recruited in that capacity to where you get drafted, it's a tougher route to the NBA. Like I did have an NBA Development League contract.
Yes.
In 2010, I was one of 4 people to get one from an international workout.
Yes.
And so that was a blessing. And but those are the different routes you can take to the NBA. But my rookie year, it was more so, okay, I know I'm not on the draft board for the NBA. So what are the other routes?
Okay.
And I was well aware of them by this time. I was working out with guys from overseas and NBA guys since my sophomore year at college. Every summer I would work out with these guys, Allen Iverson, Russell Butler, Jameer Nelson. I worked out with a lot of these guys in the Philly area. So I knew what it was all about, even then from the political side,
Okay.
So it was, honestly, by the time I graduated from college and I knew what the deal was, there wasn't it wasn't disappointment. It was just more so, okay, how do I, pivot and adapt to, where I'm going.
Okay. So we've got that behind you. You leave for Ireland. Was that a huge transition, going to another country? And how did you make that adjustment?
It was huge at first. It wasn't. I had enough buddies at the time that were already playing overseas to where I did get a great heads up.
Okay.
On the life and the lifestyle and just how to adapt to it. So I can't say it was huge because I already had a great heads up on it and I was ready for it. I couldn't wait to do it. You know, there were just like more so cultural and societal, you know, things that I had to adapt to.
Give us a for instance, man. What were some of the cultural differences that you? I know Ireland is going to be different, but just maybe obvious, but just give us a cultural difference.
I mean, you know, just even the driving. So drive on the other side of the road. I mean, my first day over there, I'm trying to walk around and just kind of get to know the neighborhood. And go down to the city center, downtown.
Okay.
And I'm crossing the street, and as I always would when I'm in America, I look at my left, I look at my right, and I cross. I almost got hit by a car because they come from the right. So I looked to the left first, and they were coming from the right. And I'm like, oh, I got to watch myself. So, small things like that, so you got to look to the right, then to the left, crossing the street, and just, they drink a whole lot over there too, man. A lot of beer. A lot of gas. That's where it comes from. And I'm out, and I'm declining, drinking. They're like, no, you must. I'm like, no, I don't have to, So, but no, it was, I honestly, I loved it. I had a lot of downtime.
Okay.
Believe it or not, that's my rookie years when I got my business license.
Okay.
I was in Europe.
Before you get into your business license, because I know that part's going to sound interesting, I want to ask a personal question. Did they see you as being different? I mean, it's obviously you're African American. You're 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". You stand out. How do they approach you? I mean, how do they feel about a tall African American? Let's talk about that for a second. How do they approach
that? It was different because again, there were definitely many instances to where, you felt the racial tone switch up when you walked in a room. No question. It was, everybody wasn't comfortable. No.
Okay.
At all. Even on my team.
What?
Some of the younger guys just weren't used to seeing people that didn't look like them, let alone, just from America. Again, America has a different, so for some you could say a stigma, you could say whatever way you want to phrase it, but we're looked at differently abroad, depending on where you go. And they see us as really arrogant and things like that. My coach saw me that way before I even said a word. And you always say, you Americans. And,
but he knew you were coming though.
Oh, he knew I was coming. Yeah, he knew I was coming. He looked forward to me coming. But even that, put it like this, basketball aside,
yes,
I was still I was still an African American young guy.
Wow.
So again, you can play as great as you want, but you're still in the eyes of so many people, your skin color. Period.
Understood.
It don't even matter.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. So while you've got this downtime, you decided to apply for your business license. Tell us more about that. Right?
Yeah. Just called myself being productive with the downtime.
Yes.
And I always had in my eyes, had a high level of creativity.
Yes.
And I'm a big time dreamer. So, I'm always thinking of different things to do. And if you give me downtime, I'm going to come up with something just by default. So
gotcha.
It's when I was, just kind of sitting around, I would have morning practice. I have some downtime in between. I had afternoon practice. And I have downtime after that. If we had a game, I would have, shoot around in the morning, a little bit of downtime, game time. Once that's over, I go back to my place and just kind of hung out. Especially initially, I didn't really know too many people there, and I didn't really start going out and about and kind of really socializing until I was already there for a couple months.
Okay.
And but initially, I was just be at my place, coming up with different ideas, business ideas, not knowing exactly what I wanted to do, but knowing I wanted to do something in business one day.
Okay. Now, another question. You are a young man. You're making money. You're a professional athlete. Did you have any idea as to how long this life was going to last? Did you say I'm going to do it 5 years, 4 years, 10 years? Did you have any, premonition as to that?
I did. I'll be honest. I was one to take it in stride.
Okay.
And just like, hey, I'm just going to enjoy the moment. I really was. in hindsight, I can say I was really enjoying the moment of it.
Okay.
And it would last as long as it would last. And, I kind of been through enough by that time in my life to where I knew, like, just enjoy the moment you're in, man.
Okay.
Like, I knew it by that time. I know that's not the case for a lot of people at that age, 21, 22, but I just knew it by that point. Fortunately, that, look, just get in tomorrow. Just enjoy it.
Yes. Yes. So now, how long were you in Ireland?
I was only in Ireland for one season. I was there for one season. And, and that's how it is playing over in Europe, man. You country hop. You have one kind, especially from your rookie season. You start out, you have a starter contract. You can kind of call it that way.
Yes.
And once you have your footage, your film, and your experience, you then look for a better contract somewhere else, wherever it may be. If it's within the same league, cool. But if it's not, you're looking somewhere else. I can go from Ireland to Turkey. If Turkey offered me a better one, or Israel, where there was a contract,
okay,
that's, that I felt appreciated by, then I took it.
And then your agent is helping you through this process.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, got you. So now, of all the teams that you played for overseas, what was your best experience?
My best experience was I spent some time in Spain.
Okay.
For the team, it was called Naples, but it was just, it was a good time, good experience, great competition. That was the best part of it.
Okay.
And I would say that was, I actually turned down the NBA D-League contract, the development league contract, to go there.
Wow.
And it was just, it was better. It was a great experience. It was a good time.
Okay. So that seems to me we're in the 5th or 6th year of your Europe professional.
Believe it or not, this was only about 4.5 to 5, overall.
Wow.
And,
So okay.
But even within that time, I was able to go and play in multiple and that was the beauty of it.
Okay.
Depending on where you go, you can do 2 countries in a year.
Wow. Okay.
2 seasons in a year. If you're willing to just kind of work around the clock, which was it's kind of just the norm for a lot of guys that plays overseas. I mean, it's their job. They're trying to make a living.
Now, do you still maintain some of those relationships?
From the agent side, no.
Okay.
Former teammates,
yes.
A couple former teammates. But it was so hot potato like to where you in and you out, you're here, you're there. You're not even really worried about maintaining relationships. You're just always looking for new ones.
Okay.
And again, it sounds very disconnected, but the reality was that you just couldn't. You didn't want to be too tied to an area.
Okay. And so, but it seems to me, based on our conversation thus far, that you knew the nature of the beast.
I knew the nature of it. I knew it.
Got you.
And I just hanging around pros in the summers leading up to this. I would, we would sit around and eat and snack and things like that. And they're just telling me, we're talking. I'm asking questions. I'm a sponge, man.
Okay.
And so I would ask questions, and they gave me heads up. I had close friends who were already playing in Europe.
Yes.
I had friends who were playing in the NBA. I just knew the nature of the game at that point in time. So, it wasn't much that surprised me.
Got you. So we're transitioning again. Your time of playing professional basketball overseas is over. You said you had a lot of time on your mind. What does Joel Green come up with? What's the next business opportunity, or what's the next opportunity for you that you want to pursue?
I would say that what were the next opportunities? Because I came up with so many. I created so many businesses.
Okay.
And that's the side of entrepreneurship that isn't always discussed. That initial phase of trying to find what you end up finding. You know what I mean?
Yes, got you.
The process for me, I had a company, a Spritz, .com, and it was an online marketplace. I had a company, people had no clue about it. It was a fashion network for photographers, models, event planners, and everything, just to connect them all. The social network. I created a social network when I was in Europe.
Oh wow!
And and it was successful. We had thousands of members and paid subscribers and everything. And I realized it wasn't my passion, so it didn't last because of
Understood.
that. And I soon came up with my bread and butter, which is
Okay.
my company, Pro Level Training, which
Yes.
is I'm now in my 10th year of. So
Wow.
it took some trial and error, I'll say, to really come up with. And there's others I haven't even mentioned. I had a whole social network for HBCU students and everything. It was had some amazing things going on.
Yeah.
But everything wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
So if there's no passion behind, I guess your pursuit or your purpose, then it's hard to really maintain those things.
Exactly. And you know what's so funny? As you were talking about HBCUs and maintaining your passion and contracts and going overseas, what kept coming to my mind was, man, how things have changed now with the current estate or the current being of athletics, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now you can license yourself and as a college student, get professional dollars, for your advertisement, for your likeness, right?
Exactly.
A lot of the athletes now who don't even want to go to college, but they think they're a good ball player in high school, they are opting out and going overseas to play basketball, which was unheard of when I was coming to school, and certainly was just beginning to, people were beginning to toil in those soils. So you start pro level training, right? LLC.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? What does pro level do? What's its basis?
Well, we train athletes, from top to bottom, inside and out. Literally, as far as training, the mindset, the mentality of the athlete, and obviously just building their skills. I mean, that's our motto is building skilled athletes.
Yes.
And it's not just building them up athletically so they can jump higher, run faster, be stronger, but we want to make them skilled. Mentally and physically as well, so they know how to handle the ups, the downs, the peaks and the valleys. It's all part of the process. So we train athletes in almost every sport.
Okay. And this is for them to go on the collegiate level, the professional level, or the high school level?
To go on to the elementary level, the
wow.
middle school level, the high school level,
wow.
the collegiate level, and the pro level. So,
okay.
I call it pro level training for a reason. It's not just to send athletes to the professional level.
Yes.
But the idea is to offer professional level training to whatever age you are. So
Understood.
I'm giving you a snapshot and a preview of what it feels like to be a pro.
Understood.
So if that happens to be an aspiration of yours, here's what it feels like.
Okay.
And that is, I look at my company as even a part of the weaning in or weaning out process. You'll know what you want after you work with me, just being honest.
Got you, yeah. Because after I suspect that after they work with you, it's like, okay, maybe the pro level is not for me.
Right. Look, I'm going to give you, and obviously I'll we make sure we moderate the volume and intensity depending on the age of
yes.
the athlete and the kid. But at the same time, and parents that knows me and that knows our coaches know that we're going to give them the real. We're going to give them what they need as opposed to what they just want. They can go somewhere else to someone else. They just kind of get what they want to get. If you're bringing me a list of things to work with your kid on, I'm not the one to work with you.
Got you.
You're coming to me for a reason, for my expertise. So I'm going to give your kid exactly what I feel. After I assess them, after my coaches assess them, we're going to diagram exactly what they need as opposed to them wanting to do this or to that. Well, we'll add it in if we can, but just want them to we want them to help. We want to help them grow.
Got you.
Period.
Got you.
And make sure the anxieties and things aren't there along the way.
Now, looking at your bio, at what point does Pro Level begin to work with Nike?
Believe it or not, man, this was a rare occasion for startup companies, for first year, second year companies. I started the company, and at the end of the first year, we partnered with Nike, and they appreciated what I had going on already. Obviously my experience they appreciated in the game, and different things that I already had going on. My fusion of basketball plus performance, and that was always my thing.
Okay.
Even as an active athlete as a pro,
Yes.
I love the performance side of training. I would just train all day, 9 to 11 hours a day. I would train.
Wow.
I still love it. So
Okay.
they appreciated that side of things that I would incorporate into my training techniques and into our company. And, you know, we partnered and had one camp in Hamilton, New Jersey,
Okay.
which was really cool. And that was in 2012.
Got you. So now that you've got this relationship with Nike, that's allowing you to travel all over the country doing these Nike pro level training camps, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When you get a chance to talk to the parents of some of these younger athletes, what do you try to instill in them for that training session?
Confidence.
Okay.
Confidence. That's the main thing. I mean, you have so many players that has the ability.
Okay.
So many players, so many, you know, young guys and girls that has the full capability
Yes.
to do great things with themselves, but no one ever sees it because they may lack confidence.
Wow.
And if I can help to provide some confidence, even just a slither of it, I know I did my job, my coaches did their job, my staff did their job, you know, because they walk out of the gym away from us standing up a little bit taller.
Understood.
And they remember us for it. That's my main objective, is to provide some confidence to these kids.
Understood.
Any pro.
Let me just ask this question. It was not so much a question, it's just a quick story, but within that story there's a question. So a few years back, I'm working with these two young men. We used to do an after school program. They never wanted to come to the after school program because they had basketball practice. And one guy says, "Oh, I'm going to be the next LeBron James." And I said to him, "Well, if you don't have, you know, Facebook followers or LinkedIn followers or Instagram followers at your young age, I don't think that's going to happen, right?" Mm-hmm. And so many of our young folks are wanting to do. They see the work at the end, but they don't know the work that needs to be put in currently. Mm-hmm. How do we get them to see different? And how do we even tell the young folks that basketball may not be your thing? Why are you investing all your time and energy in something that may or may not be your thing? How do we uncover that?
Honestly, that's where I feel like that's why my business is in business.
Okay.
You know, the same reason I said earlier, like we're kind of a weaning in or weaning out part of the process.
Yes.
Is because once you get in the gym with us consistently, not just every once in a while, because you can do anything every once in a while and think that you can do it. But
yes,
it's not until you do it consistently that you realize, oh man, this is a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
So once we work with someone consistently, then they see the real side of, okay, this takes some work. I actually don't want this, you know, like, or I love this.
Yes.
I'm willing to do this.
Yes.
And I love, honestly, both sides. I don't mind someone being honest with themselves. And I'm there to help cultivate and coach even the kids that does want to, but say they don't want it only because the hard work hurts.
Yes.
You know, so for that kid, I'm like, I can see, like, no, you actually do want it, but you're just not used to working hard yet.
Got you.
Let me help cultivate that bone in you,
mm-hmm.
you know, that work ethic. And for kids to see the real, to be honest, they have to experience the process.
Yes.
And, you know, because they don't realize to be LeBron,
yes,
to be Dame Lillard and all these guys that they admire, there's a heck of a process they had to go through.
Yes.
A whole lot of literal blood, sweat, and tears to get there. But we only see, you know, the glory of it on Sports Center.
Yes.
So when they get to experience the process, when they come to our camps, when they, you know, or anybody's camps, you know, I will hope that they provide them with some, I hope they make them sweat. I hope they put them in positions to where they have to potentially, and it sounds bad, but it's, again, this is me speaking as a pro.
Yes.
I hope they're put in positions to where they have to make heartfelt decisions, you know, to where, again, that could bring about the tears from time to time.
Got you.
Blood, sweat, and tears is a part of the process. And they'll realize along the way, like, okay, I can do this.
Yes.
And I love to see that.
Got you. So now you take them through this whole process. What are the parents saying to you? Are they saying you're pushing my child too hard? What are some of the parents saying to you?
Fortunately, well, as time is going on, I get a lot less of that.
Okay.
Parents have come to trust, when it comes to me personally and my staff, they've come to trust us.
Okay.
They've, seen just external results of, just some of our campers, our camps, and obviously reviews and things like that helps because it helps give them an outlook on, okay, whatever they do with our kid is likely going to help. It's going to benefit them.
Got you. Yes.
But of course, I've definitely had parents say, are you sure they have to do all of that? And that's like, I happily break it down for them because I'm like, look, I've been where they are. And the good thing for me, I'll be honest with you, is I wasn't always a top tier athlete.
Okay.
And I take pride in that because I had to work to become a top tier athlete, to become a Division I basketball player.
Yes.
I wasn't just gifted. Sure, I was gifted with height, but I played with a lot of tall players that were sorry. So, it's not all about just being tall. I had to work my behind off. I had to work my tail off just to become good and appreciated. So I let parents know, hey, look, I've been in their shoes.
Yes.
I've been at the end of the bench. I have not played some games when I was, younger.
Mm-hmm. And
I've struggled with playing time throughout my career and stuff like that. But I had to work to get on the other side of that. So, I get that from parents from time to time, but not that often anymore.
Now, what was interesting, and I'm jumping ahead. The reason why I wanted to interview you because one, it's been taking so long to bring it to fruition, but what struck my curiosity even more was, I guess about 2 weeks ago, I saw a video of you. And you are on a cereal box or a Cheez-It box. I'm like, that's my man. That's my man. I got to get him in on the show. So how did that come about? How did you get on the Cheez-It box?
That's a crazy story, man.
Yeah.
So, once I stopped playing, once I came back to America, I got into sports and fitness modeling and acting. And
wait, slow down. Sports, fitness, modeling, and acting.
In acting, yeah.
So you do acting. So you do acting too?
Not anymore. I mean, if things present themselves, I'm just not pursuing them anymore.
Got you.
But if something presents itself, I'll look into it. I'll entertain it.
Okay.
But I literally signed with an agency with Silver Models and Sports and Lifestyle Unlimited, based out of Oregon, based out of Oregon. So, I had a couple agencies, working for me working with them. And, they would let me know about different castings and different photo shoots and all these different things, commercial opportunities. So, I used to do photo shoots and castings on the ride to and from Manhattan all the time, to different agencies and going to these auditions and things like that. It was a fun time.
Okay.
And but either way, along the way, I did some good shoots and literally, it sounds unbelievable, but I popped up on a box of cheeses. This is back in 2017.
Yes.
And I'm in Target with my son. He was about three or four at the time. And he said, "Daddy, you're on an orange cracker."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Come on!" I said, "We gotta go, man." So I'm like, "Just go grab a snack, and we gotta go."
Okay.
So he literally darted off. He said, "No, you're on it." He just ran off and ran to the next aisle, and he bought back a box of cheeses. I thought he saw Scottie Pippen or somebody. I'm like, people always tell me, I'm like, it's probably not me. It's not me.
Yeah.
So he bought the box back. I look at it like, whoa, it's actually me. So
yeah.
I go, I'm like, where'd you get this from? So he walked me to the next aisle, and it was a wall size. It was just me all over all these boxes.
Wow.
And I was on Famous Amos Cookies, Pringles, and Rice Krispies Treat. And it was almost unbelievable. And again, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that I played in. It was for the Celebrity Crunch Classic, and I ended up playing in the game.
Okay.
Some really cool coaches and Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, and played with Dan Marley in the game, Terry Porter, Kurt Warner, Jasmine Howard, a lot of personalities, and then just recently repeated that back in September. I played in the game again and Kellogg's, they hooked me up and put me on another box, which was just dope.
Wow. Wow. You are coming full circle. We don't have that much time left, but one of the other things that struck me so impressive about you, you said that during the pandemic, you were reading 30 books in 30 weeks. What was the impetus behind that?
Growth.
Okay.
I knew suddenly had a whole lot of time on my hands.
Okay.
And just beyond growth, there was a whole lot of curiosity I had. So I recently, before that point, rewrote my goals.
Okay.
And that's something I speak on when I go to different places. I speak on goals and, how to attain them and things like that. So I rewrote them for myself.
Okay.
And with the different things that I wrote down, there were a lot of areas that I just didn't know about. I'm like, man, I want to do that, but I don't know anything about it.
Yes.
How can I learn about it?
Yes.
Now, obviously, I can try to search the world and try to find people and ask them, but I'm like, you know what? There's enough material out there I can find for myself in addition to asking people. And I said, well, there's a lot of detail. Okay, this book talks about it. That book talks about it. So there were so many different areas I wanted to read up on. There were probably about 10 different areas I wanted to read up on, maybe about 6 to 10. And as I would find all these different books, there were so many books I found. I'm like, how in the world am I going to read all these books? It ain't going to happen.
Yes.
I'm like, you know what? I want to.
Okay.
I have to read. If I want to achieve these goals.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, chase things down like you need them. Like don't do it like you want it, because wanting is an option. So I'm like, if I need this information, I have to read these books. Like
Yes.
if I'm going to get what I want. So I just laid out a goal for myself, a challenge for myself. And I said, over the next 30 weeks, I'm going to read all these books. And I just put all these books in my Amazon cart online and just would order them by the tens pretty much, And
Wow.
I ended up reading 31 books in 29 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Impressive, man. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Now, I know a little bit more about you, but I want to ask this question. Throughout this whole journey, how has your faith played a part of it?
My faith has been everything, man.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know how I would have been able to get to the next part of the journey without my faith being, just sky high. Has it been challenged? Absolutely. That's all a part of it, to where the test of your faith, that's what builds you up in the end. It's like, to see, okay, you're good at something, you know something, but you're still not appreciated in that thing or that area, that venue. Let's see how much you really believe in yourself. Let's see how much you believe in God, like to actually come through despite what you see or don't see.
Yes.
And when you still persist and persevere beyond those obstacles, those challenges, the unseen things, that's when your faith still has to see it for you.
Yes.
And that happened all too often, to where it's like, stop looking at stuff. Just keep grinding. Just keep working.
Got you. Joe, listen, with the time that we have left, I'm gonna allow you to speak to the audience. Is there anything in particular you would want to say to the audience that kept you focused when you felt like you weren't being focused? Anything particular that they can hold as, Joel said this is going to allow me to move to the next level? Anything you want to share with them regarding that?
All right. So again, for me, again, this is my personal side. My thing is, I pray about everything and I move. I move with this without, to the best of my ability, with no doubt in me, knowing that I'm going to do everything I can to execute, period. Now, what the end result happens, whatever happens, it happens. That doesn't matter to me. I could care less about the end result. What I care about the most is what I do to attempt to get my desired end result. The process of the journey is what matters to me the most, not the end goal, not the end result. I could care less about that. And if I can give any applicable, assistance to anybody, I would say, wake up early and get to work. So wake up early. My whole routine is, I wake up, I pray, I lay out my goals. If I didn't already do it for the day before, I have what I call a today list as opposed to a to-do list. So I lay out my today list. It's much shorter than a typical to-do list, because now I can kind of make things a little bit more attainable for myself throughout the day.
Yes.
And, I'll get up, I'll lay those 3 or 4 things out, and I kill it to the best of my ability. And I'm pleased with myself at the end of the day, knowing I did what I could to have those things accomplished. But I tell people all the time, just wake up early, because everybody feel like they don't have enough time, which is probably the most valuable asset we all have. And we can make more time.
Yes.
You know, we can make more time for ourselves. You may just have to go to sleep a little bit earlier, wake up sooner when everybody else is asleep and the whole world is just out cold. Nobody can call, email, or text you because they're all asleep.
Yeah.
That's the best time of day. I love that time of day,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I love it.
Yes,
So
sir.
if I can tell anybody even just one thing to do that they can apply to tomorrow, wake up a little bit earlier. Even if it's 30 minutes earlier, wake
Okay.
up a little bit earlier. It's a time of peace.
Gotcha. Now, how can people reach you, Joel, if they want to be in contact with you?
They can reach me, proleveltraining.com, on Instagram at jgreenplt. That's Jay Green PLT, which stands for Pro Level Training. Facebook, Joel Green. So, I'm on a couple of different places. And like I say, contact me through proleveltraining.com. It'll be funneled to me at some point. And,
Okay.
I'm good at getting back to people. And again, if my whole thing is I want to make sure anybody I come across, I'm able to encourage them in some capacity.
Fantastic. Well, you have certainly been an encouragement to me, Joel, and I'm going to thank you for
Likewise.
allowing me to have you on the show and just to allow you to drop some pearls of wisdom, man. So I thank you. So we
It's
want to
been an
say
honor.
thank you to Joel Green. Joel Green, this has been a pleasure. All right.
Same here. I appreciate it.
Let's stay connected. Let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk to you then.
Talk
Thanks,
to you.
buddy.